I'm just going to let you sit there and wiggle your head for a minute. That's the opening. All right, welcome to episode 9 of the Zenspath podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me today from, well, I guess I can't really say it anymore. Caleb, you tell us where you're from. Go ahead, tell yourself.
Sorry. Okay. I was distracted. What's going on?
Great start. Shiny, over
Perfect.
here. Over here.
Professional. Well, I was opening up the live stream just in case somebody wanted to chat. So
I've actually got that pulled up too, so we can talk. Anyways, where are you from? Tell us about yourself. Name. All that
where am I from? I am from the Floridas, and
well, not that where you're from. I meant like content-wise.
Content-wise, okay. I am from the channel Strangely Entertaining. I also am affiliated with the, I guess we call it the Rise Nation. I'm not quite sure if we have a name for it. Rising ENT. It's kind of like the YouTube group that I'm affiliated with right now. And right now we're covering a bunch of the E3 stuff going on, which is what we're here to talk about today. So
yes, we have our E3 information, predictions, random speculation, as we're well known for. We'll talk a little bit about the Pokemon Direct that happened recently, which some people were really disappointed in because they
really salt.
Oh,
a lot of salt.
We needed fries for that, which will probably be a new Pokemon later.
Some potato chips.
I think that's already a Pokemon. Crispy you, I choose you. It's like Eevee, there's variants. You've got a salt and pepper, you've got a...
Oh, goodness.
Whatever you season it with, it becomes a new Pokemon. Anyways. And then we'll just kind of randomly talk about what people have been kind of complaining about with some of these announcements, but that's ports from older generations of systems to newer generation of systems. The good, the bad, and kind of how people are just railing on Nintendo, saying, oh, you're just porting games, but ignoring the fact that the PS4 and the Xbox One, a majority of their content has been ports. And even now, they're still announcing, like, here's this game that you played a few years ago that's now coming back to this system. Anyways.
We'll get to all that. Yeah. What's up first, though?
All right, so first we're going to go ahead and talk about E3, since apparently we started kind of late, and E3's already started. So we're predicting the later part of E3.
EA, nobody cares, you know.
Yeah. They got that out of the way first, so people are just like, oh, can we get this taste out of our mouth? All right, so E3, for those of you who don't know, is the Electronic Entertainment Expo. Started back in 95, I believe, 95, 96. I know the N64 was one of the earlier ones. Usually takes place over in, I believe, California, but can't remember the exact spot. But it's a series of just pretty much showing what's all coming this year and in the future in the world of gaming. The big three we're going to talk about is going to be the Microsoft press conference, which is going to be tomorrow. And then Monday, we have the Sony press conference. And then lastly, we have the Nintendo live event, which will be going on Tuesday. They'll have their 30-minute video, and then they'll do the Treehouse Live through the entire time. And my cat's an idiot and broke something.
Oh, my cat's also being an idiot outside the door, meowing at me. Will not give in. I will not be pressured.
All right, so let's take them in order. We'll start off with Microsoft and kind of see what we think is going to happen, what they're going to have. Do you have any thoughts on this one, Caleb, or you want to start us off?
I think the obvious one would be what Project Scorpio is going to be. Probably the Xbox 721, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
The Xbox 420 MLG gaming system Pro.
I kind of hope
it's also a VCR.
Scorpio, just call it this. They're already kind of weird with their naming conventions, and everyone kind of knows it as the Scorpio. Just keep it Scorpio. I would actually be okay with that.
Nah, I mean NX was a cool name, but then Nintendo's like, nah, Switch. And I was like, okay.
Well, that kind of made sense, but I'm talking about like this would be the Xbox One Scorpio to differentiate it. You have the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, and then the Xbox One. I almost said S Scorpio, but just Scorpio. I don't know.
Xbox Super Double S, Super. I don't know S.
Well,
Xbox One 2. There you go.
what?
Xbox One 2.
That oh god, I hope they don't do that. So they did already go ahead and show off a little bit about the system. I'm a little jealous. All the people that got to go see it and talk about it, they actually gave them an early production run of the chipset, the main whole chipset, in like a little acrylic box. I'm like, I want one of those. That would be kind of neat just to see the tiny circuitry. But just it blows my mind. There are literally billions of transistors inside of those things. Billions of transistors. I mean, we're talking about, a handful of those as the population of the Earth and transistors. And that's just a few of them.
I couldn't imagine having to make that in the factory, wake up and go build these things. You're like, I wonder what these are going to be used for. I hope it's important. Yeah, it's a console. It's going to be put in a console.
Well, I mean,
all I know is that this is kind of Microsoft's last chance to impress us.
I wouldn't really say last chance.
Well,
I mean, Microsoft could be like, oh,
they don't really have. They took away the one exclusive that everybody was actually excited for.
Which
being
one?
Scalebound.
Scalebound looked good, but from what they've been saying, though, the development was in a complete mess. They were having issues. I mean, it's all pretty and stuff, but if you're going to make a car and that's your big showing point, and the car's really pretty, but then you come back and find the designers have completely broken it. You can't drive it. You can't do anything with it. It makes no sense for them to put it out and get even worse of a reaction. How much more angry would people be if they got a horrible game instead of them just going, hey, this game was not working out. We just went ahead and stopped it.
It's true that would kind of suck if somebody went out and bought an Xbox One or whatever and then Scalebound didn't work. I understand that. But to say like they don't really have that many exclusives to their system versus like Sony and Nintendo, they have a bunch of exclusives that, incentivize actually getting the system. Otherwise, Xbox One
how it works is itself is Xbox Live for the multiplayer, for how it works, the way it connects with people, the way it connects with other devices. It hooks up with PC, especially people that, they have the Xbox One and they play PC games. They're able to actually go back and forth between the two. Like if I'm going to be upgrading the card in my computer probably sometime this year. I get it where I can run DirectX 12. I can run Forza Horizon 3, Gears of War 4, and all these other ones. And I just play them on my computer, and then I go and log in and play them on my Xbox One. And that works really well between two Xbox Ones in the house now, plus the computer. I'm already doing that for Phantom Dust. I can play it on my Surface, and then whenever I get home, I can log in on one of the Xboxes and play it on there. And it just all my stuff transfers over, and voila, I'm right back where I left off. So it's got benefits for that. As far as exclusives, I think they're probably going to show at least a couple of them. They've already said they won't be showing Halo 6, so we know that one's not being shown right now, but it is being worked on. Of course, there are the Forza games and stuff like that, which are exclusive to them for a lot of the stuff. And let me get your opinion on this. A lot of people kind of and word it where, oh, well, if it's also on PC, it's not exclusive to Microsoft. What are your thoughts on that? Like people are saying like, oh, Forza doesn't count as exclusive. I can play it on a computer. Or Gears doesn't count as exclusive. I can play it on a computer. But
are you talking about the argument that they're exclusive or the argument that they just don't get an Xbox because they can play it on PC?
Well, they try and make the argument that they don't count as exclusive games because you can play them on either one.
Well, if they're only on PC and Xbox, I would say that is exclusive to Microsoft themselves.
Yeah, because it requires Windows.
Maybe not super exclusive to the Xbox, but definitely to Microsoft. I would say that.
I mean, they're getting the money either way. They're putting it in. It's the same servers. You're playing on a lot of the stuff. Half the time you're playing on the same controller. It's just you have a different box playing it. So, I don't know. I still view those as exclusives because they are Microsoft-only type things. So, I don't know. I'm thinking with the Scorpio, they've come out. They've already told us what the processor is, the power, and stuff like that. It's crazy what they're doing with this thing. Because I ended up skipping out on the PlayStation Pro because I was like, well, I don't use my PS4 that much. I'm not going to bother getting that. And now the Scorpio is coming out, and it's even more powerful for what it's doing, at least from a number standpoint, which it all comes down to the games. The numbers can be all impressive, but I still enjoyed my Wii U more than most of my other stuff last generation. And, well, we see how that went. So some of the predictions, though, I'm thinking I think they're going to keep the little screen on the front of the system that has the frames per second. I think if they really want to push this is the hardcore system. This is the one you want to get. That's basically this super powered PC running actual 4K games. They're going to want to kind of keep that just a little visual thing. I mean, I've seen, and I only get this from people that make their own computers. You see them where they have those little displays on the front bars and flashy lights and everything. I could see them keeping that frame per second counter on the front.
We'll see.
Come on.
That's all I got.
All right. I think the controller is going to get a redesign. Not drastic, but I think they're going to get some kind of enhancement or new specific controller for the Scorpio. I'm calling that now. Well, I mean, nothing drastic, but they'll change something on it. They'll modify the ports on it, or make maybe those controllers are all going to be like Elite controllers where you can change out the sticks and things. Just have it thrown in the bundle. I'm thinking the price of it, given everything they're going to have, I'm saying somewhere between $500 to $600. That's what I'm thinking.
That's pretty steep though.
That's pretty steep, but that's supposed to be a really high-end version of it, because the Xbox One plays the games, the Xbox One S plays them a little bit in 4K, but kind of up-res. The Scorpio is supposed to just outright play them completely better in 4K. So I think at start, they'll probably have it for around $500 to $600. And then, if you want a lower end one, you get an Xbox One S. If you can afford it, you get the Scorpio. Sony's kind of following the same idea with the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. They're like, hey, if you can't afford the full one, get the Pro, the original one. It's only, $249 right now for this week, or you can get a Pro for $350 or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I could see it. Any other thoughts? Any games you think they're going to see? You're completely unprepared for Microsoft, aren't you?
Yes, I have not paid any attention to what Microsoft is putting. I don't think they're gonna. I mean, they might show off some games, or maybe if they're desperate, they can show off, hey, here's what you can exclusively do on our consoles. Maybe they'll talk about DLC a lot. That's what the industry is going in. Or I heard rumors. I mean, the rumor mill. We like that rumor mill where all the companies are going to start doing like as a service. Where you pay like $500 yearly and you can get all the games for a year or something like that. Wouldn't that just be the best?
Well, it's a possibility to look and see. I mean, actually, they've already got a service they've announced that they're doing. It's kind of like an enhanced version of Games for Gold. You pay so much a month and you get access to like these 100-something games that you can play whenever you want. So I mean, they've already kind of gone in that direction, but thankfully, it's not their mainstay. It's not like how Sony was trying to do with PlayStation Now, where you're going to literally stream your games off of our server and watch your single-player session lag out. I still love how they pushed games that required perfect timing, like fighting games and shooters, where you're playing them online multiplayer while also streaming your content in, which is doubling the lag. And
Better hope you have good internet.
Anytime I'm sitting next to somebody and I have to play a game and it lags out, something is wrong.
Yes.
So.
Very much so.
Well, Microsoft did say that their conference is going to go long tomorrow. They're actually going to be taking a lot more time to talk about, the Scorpio. They're going to be covering a lot of stuff with that. They did say that they will not be talking about the VR for it. So they we knew VR was coming, but that almost confirms it. They're just not talking about it right now. I think they're going to be doing a deal with Oculus, along with Facebook, because they've already.
Well, why wouldn't they use the HoloLens that they've been showing off?
That's a little bit different one. HoloLens is more of an augmented reality, not VR. VR with the Oculus, they could take advantage of the same games and setup that developers are using now for the Vive and the PlayStation VR. That for the HoloLens would have to be specific. It would be a Microsoft exclusive thing. Plus, I don't know, maybe it's just not ready for public use yet. I want one though. It looked really cool with Minecraft. And that's another possibility. We could see a new version of Minecraft on the Scorpio. And talk about all that power for a game made of blocks.
You could do some crazy stuff in Minecraft, though. If they
they're
allowed
just
mods,
so blocks.
if they allowed mods, you could make it look like
I'm not a big
Skyrim.
fan of mods because they just, I mean, that's kind of breaks the point of it. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of mods for some stuff. It's just like, I don't know. Anyways. All right. So I guess we're done with Microsoft. That was fast.
Yeah. Well, move on.
Well, we'll talk about some other stuff and see what they have. We'll know about it tomorrow, and we're going to try and do an after E3 show next week as well. Maybe get together. You were saying Tuesday night, do an early show to see what we can do. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
All right. So moving on, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Sony press conference, which is going to be Monday. Caleb, I guess you're a little more prepared for this one. So what do you think What do you think was going to happen?
Well, they better show off some Kingdom Hearts 3 because I know it's going to come out in 10 years. So
yeah, we should go ahead and mention that when we're talking about, people buying the Xbox and for Scalebound and being told they're not going to get it. It looks like the PS4 people may not be getting Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy VII now.
Huh. How's that?
Well, Final Fantasy VII has completely changed developers. So it's going to be a couple of years now before it actually comes out, which would put it out of the normal range of what the PS4 was supposed to last for. So it may end up being, for a new generation of consoles. So all that prettiness they showed off, none of it was real.
Well, that's really weird.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's shocking. I know Square's taking forever to do something.
I know, right? Other than that, maybe speculating. What if they showed a new Infamous? That'd be kind of cool. New Infamous game.
I'm wondering, do you think they're going to have any kind of focus on VR? It's been selling really well. It's been pushed a little bit more. A few games have finally come out. I picked up Farpoint. I got Star Trek Bridge Crew. I've been actually messing around with it and actually using my VR for once.
I would say that there probably could be 2 or 3 new VR games, but more than likely, they'll probably just port a bunch of VR stuff from Steam. I feel unless they're just like, hey, we have a whole show dedicated to new VR games. Let us show you this. Other than that, they'll probably just show off the usual stuff. A bunch of weeb-tastic RPGs coming to this system. Let's see what else.
So many RPGs. Oh no.
Maybe they'll have like an indie section. I don't really know what the indie scene for PS4 looks like right now.
Not too bad. I think the indie scene's gotten a lot better for all 3 of the systems, which is good to see. I mean, some of these smaller developers have made for some really fun games recently. So, anyways, let's see. I'm trying to think what else we might think that Sony could bring back. I think we're going to see more in Gran Turismo, not just the
Crash Bandicoot. Just thought of that.
You think we'll finally get a full game because we're getting a port, remakes of the first 3 in a collection. But I don't know if we'll get a new one. I know for some unknown reason, I guess just because this year is weird, we're getting a Bubsy on PS4.
Yeah, that was
Bubsy.
What? Why Bubsy? Like,
we don't get a Metroid, but we're getting a Bubsy? What is wrong with this world?
I don't want to live it anymore.
Play Bubsy, you might not. Oh, the horror of that.
I mean, I guess that's more of a nostalgia grab, if anything, but I just wonder...
For who?
I don't know. I don't know how they would have gotten...
You remember that time you went to the bathroom as a child? We're bringing it back! No, I mean, it's that bad. Bubsy was horrible. I mean, We're getting Shaq Fu again this year.
I
All these
think
games are coming back that are just.
I think it's kind of like YouTube bait in a way,
It's like ironic, I guess.
because it's I don't know. It's to me, it feels kind of like, hey, look, bring back Bubsy. Look at it. You want to make a video on it or something? You want to review it? You want to do all this other stuff? Buy it. So buy it so you can do all that.
This is so horrible. People will watch you on Twitch. Buy this game.
Exactly.
And I worked with people that would buy horrible games just to stream them. That was their whole point of it, which is kind of weird.
That's how some developers make money now.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I don't understand it.
So some of my other stuff for Sony, I think we're going to see more of God of War, but I don't think it's going to release this year.
Oh, Father of War.
Yeah, Father of War. I'm saying now I think it's going to be a 2018 title. Sony usually shows off something and it's like 2 or 3 years before we actually get it.
I know they'll probably maybe show something Gundam Versus. You heard about that at all?
A little bit. I did see.
They're bringing a Gundam Versus game over, so they'll probably show off that.
All right.
They'll probably show off a little bit. I'm getting into the Japanese stuff now. What I was talking about, they'll probably show off Excel World versus Sword Art, maybe a little bit. Final Fantasy, that MMO number 14, whatever it's called, Blood Lost Stained thing. I can't remember.
I don't know. I'm looking back
off the top of my head. I can't remember. I should have pulled it up.
I don't know. I'm looking back at some of the Sony stuff from last E3 because, like I said, a lot of their stuff they'll announce it, they'll show a little bit, and then it can be years before it comes out.
Bloodstorm. That's what it's called.
Bloodstorm, yeah. Insomniac Games is working on a Spider-Man title.
Bloodstorm.
I think we'll
Spider-Man. We'll go see Spider-Man.
I think
I saw a little bit.
Especially because Homecoming is coming out next month. So they're probably going to be pushing that game, or maybe even revealing some kind of connection to it. Not directly, but like, hey, pre-order it and you'll get the Spider-Man suit from the movie, or I could see them doing something like that. Quantic Dreams Detroit Become Human looked really, really pretty, made no damn sense. I actually think we may just never hear about that one. I mean, it may just disappear.
Was it? I saw a trailer for something vampire with a Y.
Sure on that.
Vampire guy with Y.
It's Kelly with a Y. It's vampire with a Y.
Did you wait?
I think that one, if it is shown, it's going to be very minimal. They're kind of slow on development over at Quantic Dreams. They make some good games, but they take their sweet time. That's another one I don't think will be this year.
Do you think we'll see some new Order 1886 or whatever, something like that?
That might be at a different show for Sony movies. If they just show off that, because that's all it basically was. I don't know. They're going to have a hole to fill in their E3 presentation because for the first time in years, they can't just try and trot out The Last Guardian again. That's actually released. So what's the new long-term, horse to trot around for that?
Kingdom Hearts 3.
I still think in the US that's coming out on Xbox.
That would suck.
Why?
They would have their building.
I would rather have it on there. What do you mean they have to build it differently? The systems are basically
no, they would have their
same.
building burnt down in riots.
I never got the idea of that. It's a multi-platform company. Why is it bad to release it on different formats? That's
because
like someone that loves digital movies throwing a huge hissy fit because their movie's going to be released on a Blu-ray, and they're like, "Who cares?" It didn't hurt. Titanfall went to PlayStation. I was like, "Yeah, it's on both. Great, enjoy." Destiny's on both systems.
Oh, I thought you were talking about making it exclusive. So I don't know.
No,
as long as it's not exclusive. If it's exclusive, I think they're going to get their building burnt down. I thought that's what you were saying. So
I don't even think that's even a good reaction to have for stuff like that. If a company decides to do it, that's kind of their thing. They shouldn't be threatening with violence. Unless it's Nintendo. If Nintendo does that, we'll burn something down. Mario's going to be on an Xbox. No. Or even worse, all of Mario's are going to be on an iPhone. Oh, no. All right. So, do you think Sony is going to try and trot out a new Vita or portable idea? Or do you think they
I
finally are going, we're done?
doubt it. Highly doubt it. If they do, it basically has to compete with the Switch at this point, which has kind of already established itself as the
Dominant.
newest portable newest portable thing, because Japan's like, oh, we love everything portable because we're always not at home because we hate our family or whatever, but we
the
still
houses
love
are
games.
They don't hate their family. They're actually very family. Why? Caleb, no.
Because it's just, if they do, it's basically gonna have to compete with the Switch, and I highly doubt it. After the Vita, I think they're pretty much done with portable, unless it's here's the Vita 2.0. You can get even more anime games on it. Yay! More anime games for it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're
Kind of all
going
the Vita is right now. It's just an anime game machine.
Not even a good one. I think if they do anything that is any kind of portable, it's going to be basically just remote play the box. That's it. Internet connection required, stream your games. And I don't know how people keep talking about how much they love remote play. Every time I try it, I'm just like, this is horrible. I'm missing buttons. I have to do all this weird stuff with the screen. It just never works right.
I heard that you can buy a extension for the Vita that gives you the extra little buttons
But
at
it's
the
not going
bottom,
to
so you
be.
don't have to.
Yeah, but that's not official.
You know.
It's not. All that
Well, I
is
mean, something.
you hit the buttons, and all they're doing is touching the corners of the touchpad where it's supposed to be. That's all it's literally doing is just touching those corners.
Well, But
No,
I mean, they might do that. They might just say, "Yeah, here's a new stock of Vitas. It's just remote play. Have fun, kids."
we'll have to see. I think Sony is going to pretty much call it they're done with portable, at least in regards to some of these. I think it'd be kind of nice if they looked at it and went, okay, well, back in the Game Boy and DS days, some of them, like Microsoft, actually put out some of their games on those systems because they didn't have a portable, so it wasn't a conflict of interest. It would be kind of funny to see Microsoft and Sony go back to that and start releasing some of their games on the Switch. This will never happen, but it would be kind of funny to see it go back again. I mean, I played Viva Pinata on the DS. It happened, and it worked. So, I don't know. All right, so any other predictions for Sony that we think? Any games that you think might get brought back, announced?
I would like a Spyro that is not Skylanders, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's like getting a Rayman that's not Rabbids.
Pretty much.
Good luck.
Which I guess we'll talk about that in the Nintendo part.
It looks really funny, but Rayman needs to be in there somewhere. Anyways. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and call it on our Sony stuff. We're going to go into the one that we're probably going to talk a lot about because it's us, the Nintendo conference.
Sit back for the next hour and 30 minutes.
Our discussion will be longer than their actual presentation. Well, their presentation is only 30 minutes. It's basically just a kind of a short Nintendo Direct. Kind of weird. I guess, if they do like they did the last couple of Directs, they were very quick and just kind of went through step by step. They might be able to just rush through a bunch of stuff. But they've been getting announcements out of the way before the systems, the announcements been made. The 2DS XL was announced well before E3. We had the Pokemon Direct that happened that showed off a couple of things. I mean, Nintendo's been making these little announcements prior to their E3, just kind of clearing the board of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're doing that just to kind of, add some extra space to their stuff. Maybe they said Pokemon probably wasn't that big a deal. Like, they're not going to have a whole press conference. They're not going to have a trailer slot for Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I guess, because it's like, hey, here's the next thing. Everybody freak out about it. Well, of course, everybody had kind of an opposite reaction to it.
God, people got so pissed off.
I guess it's a mix of like people were saying stars because they kind of wanted a
Yes,
kind of
because
like
they were so right when they were like, "Oh, we're going to get a Pokemon Z, or we're going to get a Pokemon Gray, or we're going to get this Pokemon Stars." It doesn't work that way, guys. Come
yeah,
on.
we actually never got a sequel to X and Y, strangely enough, when
No,
we're
we
thinking
didn't.
about it.
I mean,
But now we're getting a sequel to Sun and Moon. That's weird.
it's exactly what happened with Black and White. This is exactly what happened with that. A new system came out when the DS launched, or the 3DS launched. The DS was still the biggest thing out there in portables. 3DS was still building up steam. It was doing well, but it needed to build up more numbers. So when they came out and announced Black and White 2, everyone was freaking out, going like, "Why isn't that coming to 3DS? Nintendo has no faith in the 3DS. They're gonna scrap it." From a pure number standpoint, they're going, "Hey, we have this engine. We can modify this game with a few improvements and add in new Pokemon or however, change the story a little bit, and then release it onto this massive group of people while we're building the first original title for the 3DS." And it worked. Black and White 2 actually sold fairly well to this market of people that had not upgraded to a 3DS yet. They were getting one final tap out on that and they were gone. Then this is, I think, the same thing that's happening right now with Pokemon Sun and Moon, is that they're basically making an enhanced port of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as you called it, as it was.
Yes.
And the 3DS market, the Switch is doing really well, but the 3DS market dwarfs it right now. I mean, you got to admit there's a lot of 3DSs out there. So these people, they're going to develop this game. This large market's going to get it, and then later on, instead of just getting a rough Switch port, they're going to be probably making a new title specifically for the Switch that takes advantage of it, which I think will look a lot better, will have more features, will be designed around, local multiplayer and stuff. I mean, think about it. If they made a Switch one, anytime you go up to anyone with one system, pop off one of the Joy-Cons and go, "Here, let's have a Pokemon battle." And then you can pick Pokemon and fight it right there on the same screen. You don't even have to have a second system anymore. I mean, that's a little thing they could do that they could not do if they just ported over.
It'd be like kind of like Pokemon Stadium or however Coliseum and DX did it.
Yeah, they
do
could
it that way.
combine that with a full game.
But I think what people really should understand, though, is that like you said, is here's this last generation of console that everybody has. Why not release it onto, instead of making stars, which you have to build new models because it's on the Switch. Everybody's going to expect it to be console graphic ready. Just because with the 3DS,
Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is coming to the Switch from the 3DS, and people are just losing their crap about that, going, "Oh, well, the textures don't look right, or the models look like they're from 3DS." Well, yeah, no, they are 3DS models. They're literally that, because it could still play with the 3DS. It's a cool idea.
But it looks better.
It does, but they have to understand this is why. If they had done that with Pokemon Sun and Moon, that's the exact same thing we would have gotten. We would have enjoyed it. It would have been great. It would have been very limited, because it's from a 3DS game, especially if it has to still connect and play with the 3DS family of games.
Well, one appealing aspect to me about Monster Hunter, I guess, I don't know if they're calling it a double cross or Generation X or whatever.
It's double cross.
Yeah. Well, right now we don't have an official name for it here yet. I don't think so. Which I wonder if they'll show that off at E3 this year, if they'll show off stories at all. I've been waiting for stories forever. Ever since they announced it like 3 years ago. It's like, stories look so cute. I want it. I want to ride a baby Rathalos. Come on.
I think if we get it, it's going to be like they did with Box Boy, which I was kind of disappointed with. They made it digital only. We didn't get any physical packaging for it, which I was waiting for that, because they had that Farewell Box Boy, which had all 3 games together in it in Japan on an actual cartridge, and it came with a Box Boy amiibo, and I was like, that'll be great. Oh, we're getting digital only. Oh, well, that sucks. So I didn't get it. I mean, I enjoyed the first one, but I was like, I don't feel like getting this third game if it's digital only. If I'm not, I'd rather pay a little extra, get a physical copy. That way, all of us in my house can share it and play it because the kids use my cartridges and play stuff all the time. If I buy it, it's just me. So it just seems useless at that point.
But going back to talking about Pokemon, I guess again, a lot of people were hoping 4 stars, but obviously that's not going to happen because Game Freak's figured out a lot of people like buying both, so they're going to make 2 different versions. I guess that also kind of sucks for people. They haven't really done a combined thing since Emerald, I believe.
Yeah,
I'm thinking no. Since Platinum, they haven't done like a merging of the 2 games since Platinum. So I don't know what's going to happen in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I don't know if I'm going to get it, honestly, because I'm kind of, Pokemon games, I'm just like, okay, it's like, I'm getting kind of tired of this. I don't even do the competitive thing, so I really know how much worth it is for me.
Sun and Moon, I actually did enjoy the story for Moon is the one I played. I'll probably end up getting Ultras because my kids still play it. We play against each other. But yeah, I'm kind of wanting a Switch version for me to really get back into it.
Yeah, but that probably won't happen till maybe 1 or 2 years from now until they get all the new 3D assets because they have to up-render everything and they just have to make new graphics for stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could do it. We'll have to see where they go with that. But I think if not next year, the year after, we'll see a Pokemon on Switch, like a full original Pokemon. Oh, I've been muted. All right, so we'll go ahead and continue on. Let's see. Some of the other stuff I think they're going to have for the Nintendo press conference. I do think we're going to see something Smash Brothers related. More than likely, it's going to be a DX version of the Wii U one with all of its content. But I don't know. Slim chance we might get a hint at a Smash coming new for next year, maybe.
I'm not quite sure because recently the Smash games have been kind of later on in the console's life cycle, unless they were developing this like right after they released.
That'd be some of the later ones, but like Melee and Brawl came out pretty fast. This one took a little bit longer because they were doing both games, and we got 3DS a little bit quicker. It was a few months later for the Wii U version that connected with it. If we get a DX one, though, I'm still thinking that we're going to get one that is the combination of the trophies and music and levels and things from both the 3DS and the Wii U brought together into one big package. Because there's levels on 3DS we haven't played it in a while, and I went back and played, and I'm like, dude, I forgot this stage was even here. Like,
right?
Because it's only on 3DS.
It would be interesting. I don't know how people would react to it though. Maybe if they,
I'd be okay with it. I mean, I would pay
they did
$60
kind of
for it if they had all the characters
put them together.
Yeah, if they combined all of it together, they added in all the characters, maybe even added in some new ones. Hey, they could bring back the Ice Climbers. They had them working.
They could.
But they had to take them out because the 3DS couldn't handle the original 3DS couldn't handle 16 of them running around. Well, not 16, but yeah, that had all 8 players on there. It couldn't take it. So, I'd be kind of cool to see that. I think they would probably add some more characters, other than the obvious ones of the Squid Kids. Who else would you like to actually see show up on?
I want to see Jedi or whatever his name is from Pokemon for Mario Legend of the 17 Stars or whatever. No, I don't know.
Gino,
I don't know.
Yeah, he was a costume.
Gino, yeah, I know. It was like, I want to see Gino. No.
Hey, here he is. The costume.
Yeah.
He had that much personality. People deal with it.
Who would I want to see? That is an interesting question.
I
want to see Ridley. No. I want Dark Samus. I want Dark Samus to be an actual character, please. Please.
That could be interesting. Have to see what they do with it.
Or Silex or, Gandreda. Somebody. You got like a pool of Metroid characters you could pick from.
Yeah, but Nintendo doesn't remember Metroid. You know that.
I know.
You'll ask for Metroid, you'll get one of the Federation Force people. Hey, I liked that game. I want to play more multiplayer of it.
Jerry, I'm gonna be right back. Give me like 2 minutes. I gotta go let somebody in my house.
Okay.
Sorry. You keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I guess I'm on my own now. Ha. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and I guess continue to talk about the Smash Brothers stuff. I think they're gonna have to, if they announce it, regardless, allow for access to the controller adapter, which is going to be a requirement for that, because GameCube controllers in Smash Brothers, ever since Melee, has been a staple for that series. We know this is actually a possibility now because, as we'll talk about in a minute with the Pokemon Direct, they announced for the new version of Pokken Tournament that all of the Wii U controllers that they designed specifically for Pokken Tournament will work with the Switch now. So you'll be able to plug in those controllers and use them, which would be great. Beyond that, if they made a new Smash Brothers, I don't know. Some people are making the argument, like for Mario Kart and things, that we're getting them now, that we're not going to get a new one. I think it's actually the opposite. We're getting these games now to build up and hold everything out going, and then later on, it will allow them to bring out a new, Mario Kart 9. Maybe next year they can show it off, or a new Smash Brothers later on. And all these ports, I think, are going to be kind of stopgaps.
I actually don't. I'm back. I don't mind the ports. That's actually kind of, it's something that wasn't portable is now portable, in a sense. So I think that's a pretty.
It's the ultimate.
It's a pretty good way.
Ports.
That's all E3 is gonna be for Nintendo. Ports. Here's the port. Here's a port of a port. Which, speaking of ports, I'm actually slightly glad that we are getting Pokemon Pokken Tournament DX or Deluxe Edition.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that during the. Well, we already were talking about that, I guess, a little bit. So
yeah, I guess we're already there.
What are the new Pokemon they're adding? Because this is basically all the ones they added to the. Actually, more than
the arcade version. Yeah,
in Japan, isn't it?
No, all their arcade machines stay updated.
Well, even the starter Pokemon from Sun and Moon that's in there now. I don't remember ever seeing that announced for arcade.
No, it was. He was the last one.
Oh, okay.
He was the very last one, but after that, that's like when nobody cared. People stopped following it. No, they're adding in Krogant for some reason. I don't know why. I'm disappointed it's not delayed.
Pokemon?
No.
Okay.
I think Toxicroak may have been. I'm not sure.
Okay.
As far as Krogant, and they're adding Duodeci or whatever his name is. I can't remember the Owlgrass ghost thing. Adding Darkrai. Yeah, they're adding Darkrai. They're adding Empoleon.
Okay.
I think they're adding one more, possibly. There was like 5 of them, which because they said no, we're not doing DLC for Pokemon Tournament for some reason. I'm like, why ain't you bringing my boy Darkrai? Oh yeah, Scizor. That was it.
Yeah, I mean it brings it up to like what 21 characters now. I think. I mean it's not a bad roster for a fighting game, honestly.
So not a bad little roster at all.
Oh, here. Along with Scizor. There we go. Yeah. Nice. Yay! Zenobia Kintaro Downcastor. Kintaro. Yep, hey, Jeremy, that would probably be my son.
Do I just say Darkrai, Empoleon, Krogant? Yep, that's pretty much all the new ones.
Which, I mean, I'm kind of liking this whole idea with those, and we'll talk a little bit more about these DX versions when we talk about ports in a little bit.
Sure. Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself.
No, you're fine.
I was ready.
So that's pretty much all they had for the Pokemon stuff, was just talking about Pokken Tournament, and then bringing over and talking about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and they were like, all right, cool, that's it, bye.
Okay.
It was only like a 3 or 4 or 8 minute long, direct. So we knew, like, all right, well, this is going to be very cut and dry. So, I don't know. Let's see. From Nintendo, I think we are going to see a couple more ports from the Wii U.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, do we want to talk about the possibility of seeing Skyrim on the Switch at Nintendo?
I think we will, actually. they've got to show it at some point. It's supposed to come out this year. They need to be able to keep that promise. I'm really hoping it's going to be the new edition. I'm kind of worried it's just going to be a port of the 360 one, which, yeah, it's great that it's support from them for the first time from Bethesda, and it's a start. But on the other side, it's kind of like it's an insult and praise at the same time. We like your stuff. Here's the crappy version of it. Even EA is kind of being nicer to Nintendo now. We joked about skipping over the EA conference, but they announced FIFA 18 is coming to the Switch. It's not going to be some weird name or just called FIFA or anything like that. It's actually FIFA 18, but it has all the modes the other ones have, Ultimate Team and all that stuff. So if you get it on the Switch, you're just losing resolution. You're not losing content because it's 1080 on the TV, 720 on the portable. It does have a local multiplayer where you can break off a Joy-Con and give it to someone and play, which that's great. So that's actually something the other ones don't have. So some of these companies may be finally kind of getting off their butts and be like, oh, okay, we're going to support Nintendo now.
Yeah, it looks like people actually like the Switch. I guess we'll invest in Nintendo, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it's like what I sent it on Twitter the other day about Capcom. Capcom's like, hey, we want to have our games everywhere. Cool, I want to play them on the Switch. Oh, okay, everywhere but there. Because the Mega Man Collection 2 is coming out, but it's not coming out to the Switch. It's not going to be anywhere on a Nintendo system. And I'm like, it's not like it can't run these games, and it can't run them beautifully. So I don't know what's up with that.
It's just Capcom being Capcom. It's just weird.
It's like they jump in like, we're going to have Monster Hunter, and then they flip over and it's like, we're not going to give you Mega Man. Really? And that's another rumor I meant to bring up about Sony. People are all up there in arms talking about how Sony is going to get Monster Hunter 5 as an exclusive for the PlayStation 4, and that Nintendo's only going to get ports of the older games for the Switch.
The only thing Monster Hunter related I saw while looking, because talking about Rising, we actually translate a lot of magazine articles, or at least we attempt to in a way. Monster Hunter, was it Frontier Z or something like that for last gen? That was the only thing Monster Hunter related. No, it's like last gen stuff. Yeah, it was weird.
I'm talking about like rumors for PlayStation 4 for this time being.
I don't think it'll be exclusive to PlayStation. That wouldn't make any sense.
I could see Sony throwing the money at it, trying to get it though, because they're starting to lose ground in Japan a little bit, and they really want to make that push. But it's kind of funny because the other thing is Capcom's trying to westernize more of Monster Hunter for this next release. So they'd be paying to get a Japanese, game exclusive to them that's got more of a westernized flavor to it, so it may not do as well. I don't know. I'd be fine if it was on there as well. Like 5 was coming to both of them because then you could choose. I would still choose my Switch version because I could take that thing with me, but
or you might do something like what they did with Tri. I think Monster Hunter 3 was started on the PlayStation, I believe, and then Tri came out on the Wii. But then after that, everything was kind of like Nintendo for Monster Hunter.
Yeah, because you had 3 Ultimate, then there was actually more in Japan we never got because we got 4, and then there was another version of that. Then,
well, yeah, Monster Hunter over there is like a yearly or like half a year release kind of stuff.
It's ridiculous.
They pump them out. So I don't know. I think if they do get 5, we'll probably get a version of 5, like a port or something like that eventually. Or I highly doubt Capcom's gonna be like, no, we're just gonna abandon the Switch because mobile market. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
That would be really weird, though.
Would be horrible. Let's play this precise, direct game. You thought it was bad without camera controls before. How about no controls?
Well, it's just like I don't know if they have Wi-Fi on the subway systems in Japan. That would be kind of weird. I don't know how they would do that. But this because it's kind of what they spend most of their time on, anyways. So I don't know, because like doing the remote play thing, that's the only one I can see that having it exclusive to the PS4
Yeah, I don't think it would work. Even with that kind of Wi-Fi amount of people playing it or using it, it would be absolutely horrible. I mean, you would be trying to go after just like little things like Jaggies and they'd kill you because you're too slow to react. And it's like, oh,
So I don't know how remote play would work with Monster Hunter 5, and then trying to justify it in Japan. So I really think it's probably going to stick with the Switch, in my opinion. Now, if they say here's just a version of it, or here's the version of both of them, but I don't think they're going to talk about 5. That'd be kind of weird, unless they do. Hey, here's 5, and then here's Double Cross. Okay.
I could see it. Maybe we won't get Double Cross here, but we might get 5.
No, we're getting. I think we're getting Double Cross.
It hasn't been officially announced. It just says it's coming to Switch. The only reason I say we can play is because it's no longer region locked, so we can purchase it and bring it over if we want. But it's going to be in Japanese. Good luck understanding what you're trying to build. What item are you looking for? Those squiggly lines.
The one in Moonspeak.
The Moonanites. All right, so I mean, I could see something Monster Hunter related showing up at the Nintendo event. I could see that being done because it would be a good one for them to show off during the Treehouse Live as well. Just running around and kind of showing how the game plays. We're obviously going to get a big blowout on Mario Odyssey. I think that's going to be one of the big headlines for it. We'll get a launch date. We already know it's going to be a $60 game, so I'm not worried about price. But I think we will get a launch date for it. It's a little trickier with Nintendo on these because they could show it off and then, 2 months down the line, they could have their own Nintendo Direct whenever to announce whatever they want. So E3 is not really that important for them anymore. They can have E3 whenever they want. Hey, it's Tuesday. Let's announce a huge game.
Nintendo Direct, let's go.
Yeah, they could, and we get like a day's notice. Hey, we're gonna have a Direct tomorrow. Say what? So I don't know. It makes Nintendo a little bit trickier to do. So I'm saying I think we're going to see something Smash Brothers related. I know we're getting Mario. I think we're going to see Monster Hunter. I think we're going to get at least 2 original, never before seen Switch games. I think will be announced Tuesday. They could do more, but I think they'll at least probably have 2 new titles. So that's my theory.
We'll see. And they'll probably show off some more Splatoon 2 and ARMS.
Yeah.
I think.
They might go a little lighter on ARMS. I think they'll show a little bit more Splatoon because ARMS comes out pretty close to the actual date. Like it comes out a few days afterwards, so they might show it a little bit on the Treehouse. But I don't think they're going to waste much time on their big event on it. But Splatoon I could see because that's not till next month?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. They did go ahead and announce information about their online, which is $20 a year. Hope you can afford that, Caleb.
It's more affordable than
Anything?
Sony's.
Coffee? $20 for a year. It's way less than I pay on coffee in a week.
Yeah, $20 a year. This is way more affordable than what, 150 something for Sony's or something like that.
It's 60. It'd be 120 if you get Sony's and Microsoft's for a year, because they're 60 each. I pay it, so. Ugh.
I know it's a ripoff.
Do you think we're going to see anything officially announced about Virtual Console at E3?
They haven't made a big deal about Virtual Console so far. Could be possible they could announce a GameCube Virtual Console, which I'm surprised they haven't done at all. A lot of people like the GameCube games.
You think if they did that, like if they were saying, hey, we're not going to have a new Smash Brothers for a year or so, but hey, here's Melee as a digital download.
Oh, people would explode. People would.
They'd be angry if they couldn't use GameCube controllers because they're that bad.
This is true.
I need my exact GameCube controller to do this and this and this. And
how am I supposed to L cancel and wave dash?
Yeah, to save on file size for the download, we've only included Final Destination and Fox as playable characters. Everything else is
the characters everyone plays as. There's no Pichu.
Yeah. We took all the items out. All the models are gone. Basically, this game is like 8 megabytes now. That's the version of Melee they want. The no fun version.
The no fun version.
I'm gonna get so much hate for that. It's
Bring it.
it's
I
true,
don't care.
It's true.
I'll suck the fun out of every game.
Oh Lord. I think if they launched Virtual Console and they included the GameCube, Melee. I actually think Melee would be after a Smash Brothers would come out. They would let it start and then turned around and actually brought in Melee later on, you know? But I see Mario Sunshine as a day one. I see Luigi's Mansion. Because it'd be for those two, I think would be good. They could probably come out with a few more, but that's the main two I think they could start off with. Laughing at Jeremy's joke, I see.
Yes. It was funny.
Just Marth, Fox, and Falco. Item crashed the game. Oh, Lord. Anyways, I wonder how this is going to actually work with Nintendo's other announcement that with your yearly subscription, you get unlimited access to a number of Nintendo games with online added to it that you can download and play whenever you want for as long as you want, as long as you're still paying. Almost kind of like a download Netflix type thing. I wonder how that's going to affect the sales of it. Like if you can decide, hey, I want to just keep this game and not worry about the online, is that an option? Or do you have to do this monthly to play some of these games?
Maybe they'll offer some sort of discount if you want to discontinue the service, or maybe they're just service exclusive. I don't
know. We'll have to see. I don't know. I think they're going to finally show off the voice chat. They're going to have to soon because if Splatoon comes
the
out
one
next
that
month
you plug into the system, which plugs into your phone, which plugs into the Ethernet cable or whatever. I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't either. They're going to have to. It's one of those things where like, all right, Nintendo, you like doing weird things, but come on, there's a time and a place.
I would prefer it if I didn't have voice chat in Splatoon 2, so I didn't have to listen to the 7-year-old yelling at me that how to play the game.
Well, I want voice chat. I think it was necessary, but not to talk to random strangers. If me and you and a few other people get online and play together as a team, I want to be able to talk and go, hey, Caleb, I'm making a push over here. Or, hey, I'm in trouble. I need help on this spot. Come over here. Flank around this side. We can actually go in there and shoot a bunch of kids with, paint. I said with paint. Someone's going to edit that and be like, oh, I look like a monster. Just shooting children. Anyways. Well, they're all squid kids, so they're technically shooting children. With other children. I'm just digging this hole.
Just keep digging it.
I'll shoot my way down. All right. So I don't know. The voice chat I think that has to be shown and explained. Otherwise, we have no idea what's going on. But I'm worried how much time they're going to eat up with something like that if they include it. Where you've got a 30-minute time, they may have to waste 5 minutes explaining how the hell to use their chat function. Step 1, plug it into this. Step 2, plug it into here. If you're using this type of adapter, use step 3A, plug it into here. Step 3B, plug it into here. If you're using it in dock mode, step 388, go over. If you're using a Windows phone, go away.
Be gone.
Be gone, you.
It'll crash your phone. It's now bricked. Have fun.
How dare you talk on that thing? I miss my Windows phone. I wish it had been supported more. It was such a good phone. All right, so let's talk about. We've kind of made our E3 predictions. Kinda. It's been
new Metroid, please.
We didn't even mention that until now. That's sad. Neither one of us actually think it's gonna happen. That's what's horrible.
We've given up. I have given up hope.
I honestly, and I hate to say this, I honestly do not think there will be a Metroid. I think the reaction they got from Other M, yes, the story was crap, but the game was actually a lot of fun, people. I will stand by that statement. I still enjoy playing it. I just hate listening to it.
Skip cutscenes.
That's my fair argument. I hate the story. The game was fun. I liked that it was different. But people lost their crap over it and gave Nintendo so much shit. And then they came out with Federation Force, which I was okay with. I was like, hey, it's a side story. It's something different. That's like getting really, really angry that Captain Toad's Treasure or whatever came out. Yeah, it's not a Mario game, but it was a fun little side piece to it. And I think that's what should be kept in mind, but people just lost their minds over it. Nintendo's probably like, okay, this group is toxic. We're just going to leave them out now. I mean, they're putting more effort into Pikmin now because of that. Of course, Pikmin's getting crap too. Do you think that Nintendo is going to show much about 3DS at AC3? They'll show some, I'm sure. There'll be a couple
There
games, but
is Ever Oasis. That there's a couple. There's Monster Hunter Stories. There's Ever Oasis. There might be another handful of 3DS games that haven't come out yet. They'll might talk about it.
maybe a little bit more about those Kirby games.
It'll probably be more like a sideshow from the Nintendo conference. They'll probably do something like Treehouse or something like that.
Yeah, I can
Other
see
than that,
that.
I can't see them talking about it on the
Sizzle
stage.
reel, like a little sizzle reel again. You kind of go through them real fast. So we'll see. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and round out the show. I'm not even sure how long we've been going. I forgot my watch today. It was dead. Well, okay, I have my watch, but I just didn't look at what time we started. So whatever. Don't even care today. We're gonna talk about ports. This has been a big thing for. Well, it's been on Xbox and PlayStation 4 a lot, but people choose to ignore it. But then it showed up a little bit on Nintendo, and people lost their damn minds. So I want to talk about the fact of our thoughts of the good and the bad reasons, as well as the good and bad examples of games being ported from older generation systems to newer ones, and and how we feel about that. This has been going on for a while now. Some of the first ports I remember, other than counting like some Atari games being ported to Nintendo, which is very limited, was stuff like Super Mario All Stars, which they ported over those as a kind of a collection. Ninja Gaiden did the same thing. There was 3 games ported over. That was a bad example. But what is your thoughts on ports being brought to these systems? Not just Nintendo specifically, but PlayStation 4, Xbox One, things like that.
I think it's a good idea for people who maybe have not been able to play the games in the past. The only thing is probably there's a motorcycle going by. Sorry if you can hear it.
I could hear it. I was like, what is that?
I hate my road. It's more of so the price point. I don't know how much they're like, you have these year-old, however many year-old games, and they're still like $40 or something like that. It's just like, wow, like $40 game, I could go to GameStop, pick up a new used game for that price.
Well, it depends on the content too. You've got direct.
Yeah, I mean, then again, it does depend on the content. I'm not saying don't buy ports or whatever.
How many times have you bought collections of Kingdom Hearts games?
Well, I actually only have the ones on the PS3 and the 2.8 that came out. So, I mean, I saw that they made the ones for PS4 like right after I bought the ones for the PS3. I'm like, ugh.
Well, I mean, those are literally, it's the same game, just upscaled to work on PS4.
And and then added some extra content to it. Like we didn't get the Kingdom Hearts Super Spectacular version or whatever here in the US, so they added it. They had all that stuff in there.
So I was kind of looking at.
Other than that, go ahead. But if for Virtual Console, like I said, GameCube, a lot of GameCube games, people loved those, and
see, I wouldn't really care.
Not everybody.
Those aren't really ports. That's emulation bringing those games in. Ports, I'm talking about like we had The Last of Us, absolutely fantastic PS3 game. I had it and I really enjoyed it. Literally a year later, it was brought out on PlayStation 4 when the 4 launched. And we had The Last of Us with all the included the DLC, kind of like a DX version, with that little bit of content, and kind of carried on from there. And they've done that with a handful of games on the PlayStation 4. I've seen a lot of PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 era games being brought over, ported to it, where you can't really access your old stuff and it's redone. Microsoft did the same thing in different forms, where they had Devil May Cry got brought over on DMC. A lot of games like that. They had the collections, like the Master Chief Collection. You had the Uncharted Collection, which is actually a really good collection. People play it. It's a good way to do the port. But they're still doing that. A couple of years after the systems have launched. I understand in the first year or two, they're doing a lot of them because it's an easy way for developers to show, hey, we have support for the system. We're going to get used to working on this hardware by bringing over the game, and it's going to pad out and give more content for these people to play. Since backwards compatibility seems to be a thing of the past for most systems, except ironically for Microsoft. They've actually managed to do really good backwards compatibility for the last 3 systems, or at least 2 systems, because the Xbox didn't have backwards compatibility. Anyways, there's nothing to be backwards compatible about. No, nothing. All right. But it's been going on like with the Switch, the way they're doing that one. They're bringing over a number of games from the Wii U. They've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We've got Pokken Tournament Deluxe coming. What else have they brought over? Do we know? Like, there's been a lot of digital titles that were re-released as well that were digital ports on the Switch or on the Wii U originally, which is helping to build out the library. But I'm kind of seeing a deja vu of the games I'm playing. Like, hey, I'm celebrating Mario Kart 8 again, and all right, I'm going to be playing Pokken Tournament again, and what the hell, Fast RMX, and
Yeah, I can see what you mean about that. Really, as I was mentioning earlier, they're making games that weren't portable, and they're making them portable. And if you just like, for me, I'm getting Pokken Tournament because I want all those extra characters. Hopefully there's some extra stages and some extra assist characters or something like that. To make the game, better. Not just the characters, because you're playing full $60 for just characters. And we're like, well,
yeah. And I'm wondering if it is going to be a full $60 game. They haven't really said.
I guess as long as you're not dedicating all your manpower to trying to port these games over, instead of making new games.
Well, how about
I'm actually perfectly fine with it. Doesn't bother me at all.
Some of the arguments I've heard, and I kind of agree with it, is like it's okay to have ports that are at least 2 generations back. It's not something you've recently played. You might be bringing it over, playing a newer version of it, like Wind Waker HD. That and Twilight Princess HD. Twilight Princess wasn't as impressive. Wind Waker just blew my damn mind when I played it.
Yeah.
Like, this game is so pretty. That was a good way of doing a port. They added new content, fixed a few things, made it look better, brought it over. Microsoft just did this with Phantom Dust. The sequel to it ended up being canceled. They were having development issues with that as well. Or at least I believe that's what it was. But they went ahead and remade the first game and then actually gave it out to everyone for free. They're like, hey, download it. It's yours on PC and on Xbox One. So as soon as they made that announcement, as soon as it was available, I already had the game. Sony seems to be doing that with some of their PlayStation 2 games, which kind of brings up the argument of them bringing these games over for sale again that you may already own versus the fact they have no backwards compatibility. So it kind of brings up that argument a little bit as well. We knew the Switch was going to have backwards compatibility. It's physically not able to, unless they want to have a Wii U disc drive you can buy for your Switch and plug it in, and
then you have to plug it in your phone, and then you have to
use a joy. Somehow your phone gets involved. Yeah. I don't know. I think ports, as long as they're not lazily done, can be good. Not everyone gets to play these games. I understand why they're doing the ones on the Switch. Mario Kart was a huge seller. They brought in the whole battle mode. It was a little bit on the fact I had to pay $60 for it.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2 was another one. They ported over the final version of Street Fighter 2. I had to pay $40 for that one, which still kind of hurt a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, that's so much fun. I knew what it was when I went into it, but it's basically that as a port. they just kind of brought in the last version of all the updates from the arcade versions and things, and it's actually missing some stuff. Like there's no car to beat up. None of the little mid-stage mini games are there, like the barrels you'd kick out of the air as they fell, or the car you'd break down. And I was like, that's kind of disappointing that they did that. They included an absolutely amazing art book, but that doesn't cover it. So I don't know. I know it's been kind of a weird discussion for that, but do you? I mean, do you want to see this continue? I know we're getting, Final Fantasy 12 remade on the PlayStation 4 and things like that. Just kind of keep coming back. How many times are you willing to really rebuy the same games?
Me, I don't like rebuying games. I feel like I don't know. Again, it really depends on how much, Pokken Tournament, how much the price is to make, it makes me feel either like I'm being cheated or something.
I'm guessing it's going to be
I would actually like to see, I would totally rebuy if they did like a port of Hyrule Warriors for Switch and they just had all the stuff in Legends, all the stuff in the Wii U version, because that is literally so much content, just like those both versions together. Because the Wii U has the boss thing exclusive. We play as Ganondorf and a giant chicken, giant Kuko. And then the Legends versions just has all the extra maps and costumes and things like that. It's and the fairies. I would actually like to see a Hyrule Warriors kind of port, but that's another thing. We're gonna get to see more Fire Emblem Warriors probably.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that, but that's probably what they're kind of focusing on right now.
Do you think they'll show anything about the actual Fire Emblem game, or do you think that'll be next year?
Oh, the one that they were talking about recently, that's already out.
No, I'm talking about the one that has no. They said that there is the next Fire Emblem is a Switch game. They just called it Fire Emblem. They didn't give it a name, but they said they'd talk about it later. Do you think
Maybe
that's
we'll
going to
get
make
to
an
see
appearance, or
something.
is that too far out? Because I think they're focusing on 2017 and early 18.
Honestly, it's hard to say. They might have a short little thing about it. I can't see it taking too much time because if they didn't have any kind of footage for it, then maybe it's not anywhere near done. So I couldn't imagine them talking about it too much.
Yeah, I think it'll be, I think next E3 we can say we'll see that Fire Emblem, but I think this E3 we're probably not going to see anything. So, all right. Well, I guess that's pretty much it for the show for today. So we'll go ahead and get our information out of the way. You can find me, of course, at Zenspath on Twitter, ZENSPATH. I'm on there all the time, so just hit me up. If you're watching this live, you already know it's at YouTube, but if you want to watch it later on or some of our other shows, it's going to be youtube.com/Zenspath.com. Caleb, where can we find you at?
You can find me on the YouTubes. Just look for Strangely Entertaining, capital S, capital E, one word. YouTube will ask you if that's what you meant to look for. Just say, yes, that's what I meant to look for. And then I'll be the first thing that pops up. It's a little me head. And then you can find me on Twitter. That's at Nerdedification. If you want to also look for me, I am affiliated with Rising ENT. Just it's RYZ. It's a very edgy kind of name. RYZ, Rising, and then ENT. So look that up. We do a bunch of anime hack and slash games, but then we also have CGN. So it's kind of like our general game news source. So yeah.
All right. So let's see here. I guess, of course, the last thing we'll talk about, kind of a sad note, I guess, in the show, is Adam West has passed away recently at the age of 88. He was the star of the 1960s Batman, and of course, also more recently known as the mayor of Quahog. Kind of sucks.
And if you watched Fairly Odd Parents, he was Catman.
Catman, yes. He was a lot of stuff. He was also a character in the Batman animated series, who was an actor that Batman, the Kevin Conroy voice one, looked up to when he was a child. So he was kind of playing a animated version of himself for that as well. Let me see what his name was. Let's see. I remember what the character was. I want to say it was, the Gray Ghost is what he was. So he will be greatly missed because that man had a great sense of humor. Always loved what it was. I was seeing stuff earlier. He used to go around, like, even as late as like the 1980s, dressed in the Batman suit, visiting kids in hospitals and just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But I'm not sure of what he has passed away from. But the last time, if I find out later, I'll talk about it. The last time he actually played Batman is they released, and I have to get this, there was a Batman animated movie they did, where him and the original, I think Burt Ward, who played Robin, actually voiced themselves as animated versions of the 60s Batman for a new animated film. So he got to keep being Batman, which is great. So I can't remember what the call of that one was. Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders. It's kind of like a newer version of the 60s Batman. So that'll be on my list. I might even pick that up today. So Adam West, you will be missed. But all right. Well, I said that's about it for the Zenspath podcast. I've been your host, Jeremy Powers. Caleb, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, anytime. And we will probably be back a little bit after E3, maybe Tuesday night, if not Wednesday, to talk about how wrong we were or how much we ranted and rambled.
Or cry.
Yeah. Next year, we need to actually prepare for this more.
Nah.
All right. Talk to you later. Peace.